It's Charter Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here on the Central Coast, joined by Dan Carpenter. He is the Vice Mayor of the City of San Luis Obispo. He's also a candidate for the Board of Supervisors in San Luis Obispo. I want to speak with you about serving, would it be, how many people are you run at large in San Luis Obispo? Am I right?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, Brad. Good to see you, yeah.
Good to see you
so
too.
You run at large.
At large, we have 5 council members. We elect our mayor separately.
Right.
And then we have 4 council members, and the 4 council members alternate as vice mayor every year.
And so you represent, I guess, all of you about 50,000.
Yeah, a little less, yes.
And so in the county, there are about 300,000 people.
Yes.
So you would represent, do the math for me.
About 60,000.
Oh, so it's not that much bigger, actually.
58 to 60, and it was gerrymandered in 2011.
Right
after the census in 2010 to try to make it close to 60,000 in each district.
So tell us about the district in which you are seeking.
The district, District 3, which is kind of unique because District 3 has 3 incorporated cities in it: Grover
really?
Beach, Pismo Beach, and 60% of San Luis Obispo, the city.
Oh, okay.
And then the rural areas of, we have some rural Arroyo Grande, Avila Beach, which is unincorporated,
right.
Edna Valley, Country Club, that area.
Oceano?
No, Oceano is down in District 4. So it goes down, includes the city of Grover Beach, but not Arroyo Grande City, but rural Arroyo Grande it does include.
So what a beautiful district.
Wonderful. We have the best coastline in California.
Say, and I want to ask, when you are campaigning, what are folks saying to you? You know, you're kind of in the center of San Luis Obispo County, essentially, more urban San Luis Obispo. So what are they saying to you?
Well, Brad, I'm glad you asked. We're running a very grassroots campaign, and part of that campaign is my volunteers and I are out in all of the residential districts. We're talking to businesses. In fact, we've stopped at over 15,000 households in the district.
Not bad when you only have 60,000 voters, so you may have hit them all.
We hit a lot of them,
right.
And we did that intentionally because we wanted to hear what the residents and the voters were saying. And I think in this district, and each district is unique, I'm running against an incumbent.
Right.
The other 2 districts are a little more unique. But what I'm hearing is people are looking for that respectful leadership so that when people disagree with you and you're up there, and I've been on the city council, so I understand
you know about that, right.
when they disagree with you, but they want to be recognized that we have differences and it's okay to be different and be respectful.
So let's talk about that. I think it's an excellent point because as we speak today, we're in the midst of an exciting presidential election, and there are some candidates that are seen as more respectful or less respectful than others. Yeah. And there are folks that at some level, I guess, appreciate the kind of in-your-face, tell it like it is style. So how do you kind of break out respect versus tell it like it is?
Well, it's a fine line, Brad, and I think you mature in that ability to determine the difference as you spend more time in the public service field. People want you to have strength in your decisions. They want you to have confidence in what you're doing, but they don't want you to make it personal. And I think that's the issue that happens that I'm seeing in this election in this district is people, they don't mind a little of that contentiousness or discourse. Respectful discourse is fine, but it's when you make it personal and you start going after personal things, I think people go, that's too far.
And how do you figure out where that line is? Because look, if you are an elected official, you are a public figure, and certain parts of your public persona become relevant, whereas there is a zone of privacy. So where's the line?
Yeah, that is it. When you launch yourself into a public service position, you're asking for it.
Right.
I think when they step over the bounds with your spouse or your children and that kind of stuff, I think that's unacceptable. But as far as everything else, as long as it's pertinent to the job you're doing as in your public service, I think it's fair game, and they're welcome to ask about it. I think, but making a judgment call that makes it personal, I think that's where people go, you know what, that doesn't smell good.
So what else are folks saying to you? What issues are on the top of their mind in central San Luis Obispo County?
Well, the top one in our district, as it is around the county, is water, of course. Yeah. And we're unique because we have this potential of desal from Diablo Canyon. Diablo Canyon is in District 3.
Literally
in District 3.
You would be the supervisor for Diablo Canyon, the only workable nuclear power plant in our whole state.
Exactly.
San Onofre is gone.
Exactly. And so we have an opportunity to receive some desal water from the plant they already have out there producing their own desal.
I mean, this deal could be revolutionary.
It could be.
I mean, I want our viewers statewide to understand Diablo Canyon, of course, a nuclear power plant that its water source is its desal. I mean, they desalinate using nuclear energy, which is great because it's not as expensive and arguably clean, arguably. And so right now the county's in conversations. I guess you'd have to build a pipe.
You would, at least would have to come out to the main entrance.
Right.
And then from there, I think, and that's part of the process of when you do your feasibility study, to see if the pipes out there already that are out at Port San Luis are capable of taking the water and then moving it back to the Lopez water system, which is the distribution center for the South County cities of
But
Lopez
this is
water.
inspired and exciting.
It is.
I mean,
very.
you know, our friends in Santa Barbara County are putting, I guess, Meyer back online, Huntington Beach, San Diego. I mean, desal's becoming very even in Cambria, they have desal.
It is.
What other, you know, we're kind of in an interesting geographic location. We're in Central California. So you didn't quite get the El Nino that we were hoping, but our friends to the north did. And so conservation, you know, how much do we need to conserve? And
That's good. I mean, it's a fair question. Conservation, as you know, the governor had us conserve up to 25%. The city of San Luis, we've exceeded that. Most cities in the county have exceeded it. You can only conserve so much. I think one area we're lacking, Brad, is in our water storage. The last dam that was built was Lopez Dam, and ironically, my uncle was District 4 supervisor at the time in 1970.
So when you say the last dam we built, meaning in this county or overall?
In this county.
I understand.
This county. So we have not built any additional water storage. So when we do get the rain, we're not stopping it. It's heading right out to the ocean.
So let's talk about storage, because you know in November 2014, the voters passed Prop 1, a water bond that had $2.7 billion set aside for surface storage. And at this stage, the money's not being spent. I've spoken with leaders in Sacramento. They're getting going. But is San Luis Obispo, will you work as a supervisor to get some San Luis projects online?
Absolutely. In the last 2 years, there were about a dozen sites identified in the county that were potential for water storage, different capacities, obviously.
Any in your district?
None that I remember.
Okay,
I mean, it's been a while since I looked at it, but I know that there has been a study as to which ones would be obvious that have good watersheds that would fill them up, and then the distribution to the local communities from there is critical.
Could Lopez its size be increased?
That one I'm not sure of. I know at Santa Margarita Lake or Salinas Reservoir, the city of San Luis already has that available to raise it 19 feet.
What's so interesting about this county in terms of water is some areas have plenty and some have nothing. I mean, in Cambria, you can't build a home because you can't get water there, but in San Luis City, you're fine.
Well, and that's a commitment by our leaders long before I got there. We committed to the Nacimiento Water Project. So we have 3 surface storage. We're getting it from Nacimiento,
Lopez.
Not Lopez, I'm sorry, Santa Margarita Lake, and then out in Cayucas too as well, Well Rock. So we have 3 sources of water storage, and I think that's why we have survived this drought better than some of the other communities who've depended on state water or on one surface storage like Lopez Lake, which is going down. So I think in city of San Luis, we don't rely so much on groundwater either. We have some available, but it's our last resource.
But now we have this requirement of a groundwater management plan that you as a supervisor would be intricately involved in creating, because by next summer we need to have agencies set up for sustainable groundwater plans.
And I believe that's quite possible, and I'd like to see it moved back to or continue with our flood control and water conservation district, which is managed by the supervisors. We know which basins are in critical condition. We have a system set up already to manage them, so I'm not willing to turn this over to the state and have them manage it.
Most wouldn't, but you got to get something going, obviously.
You do, and so as long as one agency over the basin is willing to manage the basin, the state is satisfied with that.
His name is Dan Carpenter. He is the Vice Mayor of San Luis Obispo City. He is a candidate for the Board of Supervisors in San Luis Obispo County. My name is Brad Pomerance on the Central Coast. You're watching Charter Local Edition.